going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 120 of SDGC. As always, I am one of your hosts, John, at Mr. Megadev on Twitter, and I've also got Zach at Bear Claw Gaming. What's up, my man?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Justin at RoboPlato. What's going on, dude?
Hey, how's it going?
And Brandon. Okay, look, I'm going to ask, dude, what is the proper pronunciation? Like, I've known you for years now. What is the proper fucking pronunciation of your Twitter handle?
I think he's still muted.
Holy shit, Brandon.
Good start.
This is
God
the
damn it. There's no proper pronunciation of a made up word, is there?
Okay, fine. So, anti-Trump.
I've never pronounced, like, it's not something that I pronounce in my day-to-day life, right? Like, it's
I didn't know
something
if there was like some hidden meaning behind it or something.
No, it was something when I was registering for a forum in 2004. I wanted to change like my name. There was something I was using since like the 90s, but that was like when I was like, all right, it's time for something new. So I just mashed my hands on the keyboard and then filled in letters until it was something you could kind of vaguely pronounce.
We've already I thought it was like an organism or like a disease of some kind. Like that's just what I assumed.
Like
we've already got some bullshit going on in the chat talking about Final Fantasy VIII better than Octopath Traveler. Which
by the way, I got to point out, John, you tweeted out the link to our show as twitchy.tv.
Did I really?
Yeah.
Twitchy.tv? Hold on. Let me hold on. I'm gonna fix it.
Everything is bad.
I'm gonna fix it. Hold on. There's Tom. Tom's with us.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Twitchy.tv. I sure did do Twitchy.tv. All right, hold on. I'm going to fix it.
Sorry, my headphones weren't plugged in. Did you hear me?
We can hear you just fine, dude.
Awesome. Yeah, for some reason, it's Discord by itself is not recognizing my audio source as the right audio source. It's saying it's something completely different.
Yep. Discord has been kind of a mess in that regard for a while.
Okay, I've actually got the proper link out now. So,
Great.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. John, carry us into our topics, but...
Okay, so right off the bat, so Tom, you came in at a really good time because before we went live, we were having a really deep conversation about the dichotomy between pickles and cucumbers. You know what, Zach, why don't you lead this part of the conversation because I think you made some really salient points. Sure.
So we were talking about the sophistication of pickles and cucumbers and where they fit into a sophisticated palate. Now my argument is that a pickle is a fine thing to eat, but it's not fancy, and I think cucumbers are a fancy thing to eat.
Really?
I think compared to pickles, can you weigh it?
Okay. I guess. I see. I don't get why a pickle would be low class aside from it just being.
I didn't say low class.
Basically stewing in its own shit for a while, but. I mean, other than that, like, I'd rather eat a pickle 10 times out of 10 than a cucumber. Cucumbers are
Okay. Fancy picnic. Out with a significant other. Enjoying a sunny day. You reach into a little basket with a baguette. Maybe some meat.
Ooh. Oh, wait,
there's veggies in there.
Zach,
there's veggies in there.
Are we talking bruschetta?
There might be some prepared bruschetta.
Okay.
Now I'm saying you reach into that basket.
Podcast, by the way.
Now you reach into that basket. Do you grab a pickle or do you grab a cucumber?
You grab a fucking pickle. You're on a picnic. Who grabs a pickle?
Here's the thing.
I think picnic. Yeah, pickle fits picnic.
You set the scene. You're like, oh, this beautiful.
But they're both acceptable.
And it's warm out. I was at a festival in a very upper class waspy town last weekend, and me and my significant other went and stopped at a pickle stand. We didn't buy a fucking cucumber.
Yeah.
Cucumbers are whack. Also way better.
Do they serve pickle juice or cucumber juice?
Pickle juice.
Cucumber water at.
Cucumber water.
No, they come down. They're like, come on down to fucking Pickle Bob's or Pickle Rick's or whatever the fuck it is. They're like, we have 14 different kinds of pickles. Come on down.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I have a hard line fuck pickles stance.
So here's the thing. There's so many different. A cucumber. Yeah, there's so many different pickles.
True.
You can get my unpopular opinion, which is the bread and butter pickle is superior. You can
Ew,
get a
gross,
spicy pickle.
dude. Jesus.
Spicy pickles rule.
Spicy pickles are fucking
no.
good.
Spicy pickles are good. What I'm saying is that I do not, on a fancy day, I do not want to feel the warm air of pickle breath from somebody in my proximity on me.
You want to taste what is basically a concentrated water delivery
I
mechanism.
mean, that's really
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
that's really all cucumber is,
Yeah.
right? Like I feel like a cucumber on a hot day is a vehicle to hydrate you.
You might as well,
right? Because
you
it's
might as well
like
like
90%
watermelon.
water.
You might as well
Like
fucking
what-
sit down at your picnic, be like, "Hello, dear, I brought you the celery." Fuck off! Get that shit out of here.
Seems like some of us don't like
I've got this,
hydration.
I've
And if
got
we're
this
talking
metal-
about and if we're talking about sophistication of palate, like there's so many more flavor opportunities with a pickle for your
you
palate.
can really express.
I'm
yourself.
sorry.
You can.
I'm
All
sorry.
bad.
A
No,
pickle
that's the thing.
explores
It's like
both the horizontal and the vertical in flavor. All right, you go straight to flavor country with that.
I've just
Oh,
got,
let's not go to flavor country.
I'm just saying. I'm just
stay-
saying.
we can stay
Th-
here. It's fine.
Despite them being comfortable in the bar food realm, I would say no drink ever tastes good with pickle. But cucumber is a very
Champagne.
neutral flavor.
Champagne goes with pickles just fine.
so
I don't know. Sonic has a pickle slushy now, so
They
who
do.
knows?
I haven't been brave
no.
enough to try it. I haven't been brave enough to try it, but I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm gonna
Oh,
fucking do
no.
it. And I'm gonna stream it. I'm gonna stream myself drinking the pickle slushy.
and then immediately vomiting.
I
No,
really
I'm
want to
gonna
try
do
it, but
Just
there's only one.
projectile vomiting directly into your webcam.
There's,
what I-
there's
That's
only
how
one.
that shake ends.
Yeah.
There's only one Sonic within like 100 miles from me, and it's always like
There's one like
top
15
off.
minutes from me.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
and
I
I
got
don't
one down the
get it,
road.
you know.
I also want to point out that now I've got this mental picture of Zach like on a hot like July afternoon, like sweating it out, in the field. He's got the blanket down, like the picnic basket, and him and Madison are there, and he's like, oh god, what a hot day. He's like, thankfully I packed a snack, and he just pulls out like a big peeled cucumber and just takes a big bite out of it,
Like corn.
Well,
Eats it
yeah, like corn. Like, why would you do that? Like,
Is there any other way? Is there any other way?
like,
Listen. I refuse to kiss anyone with pickles on their breath. Cucumber on their breath.
I agree.
That's a neutral flavor. That's a
fine.
neutral
Yeah.
scent. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm with you on
I'm
that.
in.
Yeah, no. That's
Pickle breath. Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out of here with pickle breath. I agree. Vicky will eat a pickle sometimes, and she'll come in for a kiss. I'm like, you need to fucking back off of me immediately.
It might as well be onions and garlic at that point.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
All the vinegar.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty
It's-
fucking bad. I do.
Pickles are antithetical to romance, and as long as we can all agree on that point, then it's.
And sandwiches. They also. This is a point we covered beforehand. If a sandwich place places a pickle on the plate with that sandwich, and that pickle juice hits the bread and gets absorbed into it, that sandwich is ruined, and I will never go back to that
Okay,
place.
so
Wow.
clearly you've never experienced the culinary delight that is a Cubano, which has it melted in there, right, with the cheese and the meats, right on the bread, sliced
Oh
pickles.
yeah, that's what. No. I'm familiar with this. This is good. This is good shit. This is good shit. I like this.
Which is one of the greatest sandwiches ever made.
It really fucking is, dude. Like an authentic Cuban, an authentic Cuban sandwich. I've had that shit down to Miami, dude. Oh my lord.
Hell yeah.
Don't even get me fucking
And
started.
the pickle and the juice from it is an integral part to the experience.
I would also say that a pickle is essential for a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yes.
I don't think you can have a Chick-fil-A sandwich without a pickle on it.
I agree.
And I think we can all agree on that. Dude, yo,
I'm
I
not
gotta
a-
tell you, this is
Not a
some
big
good...
Chick-fil-A guy because, once again, like Sonic, there's only one within 100 miles of me.
Listen, while we're on the topic, can we talk about favorite cheeses? It's clear
cheeses.
we're not talking about video games tonight. So.
No. This is,
I like a good Monterey Jack or a Pepper Jack.
I like a robust Fontina.
Oh, that's respectable.
I'm a
Can I tell you? Can I tell you? Number one cheese.
Wait,
I'll
don't say
take
fat.
any sort of German cheese.
Wait, hold on. Zach
I'm
blacked out for
I'm a brie fan myself.
Ooh, brie with like a nice brown
Now,
sugar.
yeah, but like
Yeah.
brie with bread and it's melty.
Yes, exactly.
See, I grew up on Long Island with an Italian grandmother, so I'm obligated to say a fresh mozzarella with like a tub of sauce next to it that you can just dip a ball into and then just eat it.
No, I mean
That's pretty
that
good.
sounds good, but I mean, okay, listen, feta and onion pizza. That's a Lord's meal. It's the Lord's meal.
Whoever ordered that pizza should be tried in the Hague for crimes against humanity.
Who thought of that combination?
Listen,
Feta
listen.
and
I
onion.
like on the surface, it sounds fucked, but
I mean,
literally.
deep down it is too. That is not just a surface level nasty pizza. That pizza down to its core. It is wrong. But it's not how you make a pizza. Like.
Listen.
What did you say? You said feta and onions?
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Hold on a second. I gotta lower this back for a second. Yo, Cat,
Oh my God! Is it like what?
Yeah, no.
Listen. After the show, I will get addresses and I will have pizza delivered to you, fed and onion.
Please don't. I
would rather you mail me anthrax.
I'm pretty sure if you called up a pizza place around here and ordered that, they would never serve me again.
If somebody gave me
like somebody tried to order a feta and onion pizza at this address.
Listen,
hell no.
Listen, boys,
not the establishment for them.
The pizza place down the street from me would be like, this is where we draw the line. And this place, up until a month ago, had a guy that they knew was running a drug and gun smuggling ring out of the back room. So while
that goes with pizza better than feta and onion.
Listen, boys.
This guy would be like, hey, I got you delivered. I got you your knots and your pie, and also here's a Glock.
Listen, boys. PAX is coming, and you know what else is coming? Fed and onion. You know what else is coming? Fed and onion breath.
I'm so fucking happy. Our PAX
I just gotta tell you, if somebody gave me the choice and said, John, you can either eat this feta and onion pizza that I have lovingly handcrafted for you with only the finest feta cheeses and the freshest onions straight from my garden, or you can play nothing but Ride to Hell Retribution for the rest of your life.
Ride to Hell all day.
I'll fucking play Ride to Hell every day. I'll play that game every fucking day. I would rather admit that Final Fantasy VI is the worst RPG of all time than eat a feta and cheese or feta and onion. I can't even think straight about it.
If I ate a feta and onion pizza, my mother would disown me.
Listen to me.
I can think
your car will smell like socks afterward for days.
That is true.
And in the hot summer sun, you will be mad, but
you're doing an amazing job selling this meal, by the way. It's like, it'll make the car smell horrible. It'll ruin your day.
Oh my God,
your loved ones will disown you, but it settles nice. It settles nice in the tummy. There's a good flavor palette. And let me tell you one more thing.
After this, we're moving on to fucking video games, but please.
Nope.
No.
Let me tell you this. It pairs so well with a nice ranch. A nice Newman's Own ranch pairs wonderfully.
Are you dipping feta cheese in ranch? Oh God, you are.
I'm fairly certain if you gave me that pie, I don't care where I am. If I'm by you, if I'm by me, the second that graces my lips, the second that it just touches it, a representative from the New York State Department of Vitals and Statistics will appear right here and take my identification card away.
I guarantee you that is the pizza.
I work at a school. I had to get like fingerprinted and everything to work there. I'm pretty sure it would go on my fingerprinting record and I would lose my job. It's like, yeah, he ate a feta and onion pizza. You cannot trust this person.
If you do that,
children.
If you move to a new neighborhood, they should make you have to go to all your neighbors and let them know that you do that.
I just want to point out that
and they'll have to smell your feta and onion breath as you confess.
I'm pretty sure. Listen up.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to eat that within 500 feet of a public park or school.
This is true, and I really want to say this. When tomato sauce is convicted of first-degree murder, its punishment is to be put on a feta and onion pizza. Like that's.
And then we'll be arguing if the punishment fits the crime.
Like, were we too harsh? Sure, he killed his whole family, but were we too harsh on that tomato paste? Did we go too far?
Like, I'm imagining now Zach's, like, ordering his last meal on death row, and he's just like a feta and onion pizza. And the governor calls that prison. They're like, "No, you can't do this.
No,
like this is going too far.
We cannot allocate
you cannot
federal
let
funds for
this
this.
be the last thing this person eats."
A feta and onion pizza is exactly what Donald Trump orders at the end of a long day at the White House.
You know, I've been on
I
this
think it might even be
podcast.
too nasty for him.
I've been on this podcast for nearly a year, and I've been wondering what I would love so dearly that I would defend it the way John defends Final Fantasy VI. And I think I
Even
found
one
it.
of the greatest video games of all
it,
time.
It is. No,
I think this is my Final Fantasy VI, and my Final Fantasy.
Quote that. Somebody quote that. Timestamp that right now. Feta and onion pizza is his Final Fantasy. That is whatever we talk about following this conversation of this podcast. That is the best possible fucking thing.
Listen, Sam Tolbert in the chat. He's with me.
Well, that's why
Just
Sam
saying.
is no longer allowed on this podcast anymore. The only reason you're on right now is
Fuck.
because you're a permanent member. But Sam just
Fuck.
fucked himself. Okay, all right. Listen up,
All right.
guys. Listen up, guys.
Okay, so should we talk about games? A half hour.
So
This is the best introduction a video game podcast has ever had.
I think
Giant Bombing got shit on us.
this is already my favorite video game podcast of all time. Like, this is the content that people crave from us. So, Jesus Christ, what even is a fucking video game? Like, I can't even think anymore.
Hey, it's August, not much happening.
Wait. The Domino's website has its own video game, and
Oh
it
my
tracks.
God.
It tracks where your pizza order is in the delivery process.
Yeah.
So maybe we could circle back.
Do you know that
Okay.
actually saved someone's ass because they kept stalling when they were being robbed until the Domino's guy got there?
Nice.
Well,
No,
there's also
no.
one guy that like ordered Domino's so much that he hadn't placed an order for a while, so they went and checked on him, and he was in bad shape, and like they got him to the hospital, and they saved his life because he didn't order a pizza for a few days.
Jesus.
Wow, guys. So we're learning a lot about pizza.
So,
Speaking of pizza, John, take it away.
oh my God, you fucking assholes. God damn it. Okay, so anyway.
I didn't feel like this is a great time to bring up my favorite childhood NES game, Yo Noid.
Oh my God, Yo Noid, dude, I remember Yo Noid. That game
The Noid would not deliver
That
a
game,
No.
feta and onion pizza.
The Noid would do everything he could to avoid the delivery of a feta and onion pizza.
Actually, I'm pretty sure a feta and onion pizza was the final boss of Yo Noid.
Feta and so remember the little pizza eating contest at the end of the game where you could you had to pick the cards against the enemy, and if you picked a higher number, they would eat the pizza and whatever. And then you could put like different ingredients on the pizza to like sabotage it so that they would lose points and stuff. So feta and onion was one of those. No, like this joke goes nowhere because nobody played Yo Noid and nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking
I
about.
actually
I
did
have
play
no
Yo
idea what
Noid,
you're
dude.
talking about.
I actually did play, yeah, I did.
I haven't played it personally, but I have seen plenty of
I've played Yo
Noid.
Noid.
At the end of every level, there was a pizza eating contest.
I've played.
Oh
Yeah,
my
there was a
God.
pizza, and it was so stupid and easy. It was just against like the great.
Yeah,
it was-
like you have a deck. Each player has a deck of cards, and you go in turns of picking numbers based
Yeah.
on the cards, and you have to add the cards together, and whoever has the higher number eats that number of
it's
pizzas.
the most convoluted,
Like-
dumbest shit that like.
It's not convoluted. It's like literally the most basic thing. It's just you have a higher number, you eat the
That's what I
pizzas.
meant. Yeah, it's so fucking dumb. You have yeah. Anyway, video games, guys. Let's talk about them, okay? Let's talk about the video games. Black Ops 4 beta.
Welcome to hell.
We're fucking throwing it out there. Okay,
Just-
I have not played or we could talk about Phantom Doctrine first.
Let's talk. No, we're already in hell. Let's keep riding
Okay,
through.
let's
Let's
You wanna
talk about
let's-
Black
So we're gonna
Ops.
talk
Right
about
away.
Phantom
Fine.
Doctrine, right?
Don't stop the momentum.
All right, so Justin and Zach, you guys have both played the beta.
Yes.
I have not. Tom, have you played it?
No. I played
Okay.
it at E3, but that was it.
Okay, and Brandon, Brandon, you haven't
Nope.
played it, right? Okay.
No.
Okay, so I've got a number of questions, but I want to kick it off with Justin real quick, and just Justin, if you could, and then we'll move on to Zach, and then I've got some questions. But Justin, why don't you give us a breakdown of your time with the Black Ops 4 beta?
Okay, so I have very rarely been so hot and cold on something as this beta. Like, it seemed like every couple matches, I'm like, oh, this is really good. Oh, this is real bad. It's it's really weird because there's a lot of things I think it does very, very well. I think the core gunplay and movement, like climbing and stuff, is really smooth. It felt really good. Audio wise, like there was really, really great audio feedback. Like every hit had a good like sound to go with it. Like you could really hear where enemy footsteps were, stuff like that. And I also really liked the manual health system where it's not just regenerating health. You like tap L1 and you kind of stab yourself with a syringe and heal. And I thought that was kind of fun because it, you could decide whether, hey, am I going to try to, finish up this one-on-one fight, or am I going to duck behind, heal, come back out? I thought that was really fun. Mechanically, I thought it was very strong, but a lot of the design is shifting more toward much more hardcore team play and like built around team composition of the specialists that have like different abilities, different supers, coordinating, that sort of thing. And it just kind of...
So Call of Duty is literally turning into Overwatch.
Basically.
They're trying. Somewhere between that and Siege.
Yeah, it's definitely like a combination of... It's definitely like a much, more casual Siege was what I was thinking a lot. But it kind of gets rid of, what was fun about Call of Duty multiplayer. Where it wasn't this real big serious business thing. Like that's kind of been my issue with a lot of multiplayer games lately.
It's a 15-year-old series though, so I mean
they needed to do something, but it was kind of the weird.
That it changes.
Yeah. I don't know. Zach, what did you think?
I mean, again, mixed feelings across the board about the game. Visually, this is the ugliest Call of Duty we've seen since probably Ghosts.
But
it looks awful.
So is it an actual problem with the visuals, or is it
it's got to be a beta design?
Right?
I mean, it's hard to say. So
the art design, I think, is legit bad.
Yes.
Okay.
But also like so one of the things is that I mean I'm talking to people who are also enthusiasts, y'all know, but sometimes with betas they're like, hey, we're going to reduce texture size and
like Titanfall,
sort of. Yes, exactly. Titanfall's a perfect example because they're like, we want people to download and play this. This is a 35 gigabyte download for like 6 months. And it still isn't good. And so like if you're playing like one of the modes I stuck with is called Control. It's a 3-round mode. It's a good mode. Between that and Heist, there are some good modes in this game.
Heist was really cool.
Heist was very good.
Very cool.
CS:GO, like kind of in style, but it would take till round 2 or 3 for textures to fully load on the map, which is kind of wild. But also, I think the operators thing is an interesting idea. Some operators feel essential to a team composition. For example, there's one guy who can throw down barbed wire that's hard to destroy, and it can totally break an entire pathway through a map and funnel players, which is incredible. And it's really effective.
That barbed wire takes 2.5 magazines from an assault rifle.
And I think it takes about 4 it takes about 4 seconds of your body being in it for you to die from damage. So it's a powerful weapon, but then there are other characters who have very, very weak operation skills, and so there's like this mixed bag feeling between some characters feeling like they're essential and others feeling like they're kill streak.
This sounds like Black Ops 3, but in Battle Royale mode.
I don't even get a flavor.
That's also one thing I wanted to mention. Also, just building up on actually, never mind. I'll drop that. But like a lot of the stuff, like when I was playing, I didn't particularly care for a lot of like the core Call of Duty modes, but a lot of the stuff I liked, I was thinking it would work really well in that Blackout mode, the Battle Royale mode. So I am very interested in trying out that beta next month.
Yep. And because you and I are the only...
I think some of the changes that they have made are going to work. I think, and Heist kind of gave me a look into that too. Like there was some, annoyance with how like the armor and stuff worked. And I think that sort of system, in Heist, there was like a multi-tier buy system for some stuff like that. And you could get higher tier versions of weapons that would have more attachments and stuff. And I imagine that's kind of how Blackout's going to work. And that was really interesting to me. Like, I really think that Blackout's kind of going to be the make or break thing for a number of people on this.
Yeah, and I will say that, listen, I won't be the one to come in and defend Call of Duty campaigns, because more than half of them this generation have been bad. But with this game not having a campaign, and then this also feeling like the weakest multiplayer debut we've seen this gen from the series, it's kind of in a weird position.
Well, it looks like Sam said in chat that he had heard that they had some development issues, Zach. Like some
I wouldn't be surprised. Sure. Yeah, that was also something I was thinking about. Like, if the game wasn't $60, having a season pass with, stuff getting fragmented just a couple months after launch, only getting a year of support and stuff, like and having, loot box and microtransactions and stuff, like, if the game was a lower price, I think I would have given it a shot, because I think a lot of my issues are stuff that Treyarch does seem aware of. Some of the stuff, like inconsistent load times and stuff, like, was definitely like a beta issue. And stuff like that. Like, I would give the game a shot if it wasn't going to be, $60 and heavily monetized on top of that.
Do you guys think that $60 is too much to ask for what people are getting?
Listen, I mean, you know me, I have a hard time with that kind of sentiment. I think that it's a hard price considering last year's game has objectively more content.
I don't think. I don't even think.
I mean, they do. Yeah, they are adding, more zombies stuff, which I know is actually big within the Call of Duty community.
It's huge.
That might make it up for some people.
That should be spun off into its own games as a service thing, like 2 years ago.
I personally actively dislike zombies.
I've never liked one.
So
I liked the original World at War one, and that was it.
Yeah, they've gotten way crazy since then. So like I'm not saying like the game's not worth $60. I know just personally, I don't.
You should just be able to go and download a separate app called Call of Duty Zombies, and it just gets updated with new shit all the time, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting position, and I'm sure we'll probably end up revisiting this topic filing Blackout, because that's the most interesting aspect of the game right now.
And it's still gonna sell 1 billion fucking copies.
I mean, Black Ops is absolutely like the biggest sub-series of Call of Duty right now.
Well, this one's Battle Royale, and that's the fucking that's the flavor of the month, and so you combine that with the fact that it's Black Ops, and it'll sell, and it'll probably be a mediocre experience based on everything I've heard, but whatever.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean,
it just also kind of bums me out, like going out when Zach said, visually is like the past couple of years, like Call of Duty has looked really good.
Some of them, like the Infinite Warfare.
Infinite Warfare, I just replayed a couple weeks ago, and that game is still
incredible,
gorgeous. Advanced Warfare came out before Black Ops 3 and looked and ran better than Black Ops 3. And I was kind of reading some developer interviews a while back, and it sounds like the other studios are kind of building on each other's tech, and Treyarch is still just kind of doing its own thing. And I kind of wish they weren't. Treyarch seems very committed to being their own studio within Call of Duty.
They treat Black Ops like it's not even Call of Duty. Like it's their thing. It's Black Ops.
It's Black Ops. Yeah. And I kind of wish they were a bit more collaborative, like at least like on the tech front.
So I just want to point out real quick that that Zach had put a poll out on Twitter, Feta Onion Pizza, and I retweeted it and I said no. Zach, I'm saying this just because I don't want to feel like you're boxed in. Dr. B at TakeThis.org says, why not? I said no, and he says, why not? You caramelize the onions and get that sweet, pungent flavor with the creamy texture and tangy flavor of the feta.
He gets it. He gets it. No, he gets it.
That's Dr. B. By the way, Tom. That's Dr. B saying that.
No. Listen. We cannot keep talking about feta and onion tonight because I'm right and I don't want to hurt your feelings. We should move on to the next topic.
You know, the most dangerous villains are usually the ones who actually believe they're doing the right thing.
It's like Thanos, right? Like, dude, Thanos thought he was doing the right thing, and Zach is convinced that he's doing the world a great service. And the reality is,
listen, I'm just trying to expand your palate, you pepperoni.
That's fine, Zach.
I won't go there.
But
I won't go there.
You know what?
I won't go there.
Zach, tomorrow when the heavens open and the Lord our God comes through and decides, it's time to atone for all the sins we've committed on earth because of what happened here on this podcast, I'm blaming you.
Okay, fine.
I'm looking at John. I'm gonna say I'm looking at pictures of feta and onion pizza on Google right now, and it looks pretty fucking good.
Brandon, please don't encourage this, Brandon.
I feel like anybody that would actually make it can presentation-wise make it look attractive.
Please, everybody, go there. Go to Google. Let's go there together. Let's venture together.
I refuse to do it. Tom, please don't do this. Don't do it, Tom.
Well, while we're talking about onions, you want me to transition to WarioWare Gold?
Please, actually.
So talk about WarioWare Gold. Talk about that, and after that, I want to talk about Phantom Doctrine, because I'm very interested in what's going on with that game. Justin, go ahead and talk about WarioWare Gold for a minute. Hold real quick. I'm gonna ask Brandon. I know you haven't played it, but Tom, have you played WarioWare Gold yet at all?
No, I really want to, but you couldn't pay me to play a 3DS right now.
It's really
okay. That's actually something I kind of wanted to get into because
it's really hard to go back to a 3DS right now. I'm not gonna lie.
WarioWare is WarioWare. Like, there's not too much to describe about it. It's a series of 5-second games that you do like basically one action and see how many you can do at a time. But like I've been a fan of WarioWare for a really long time, and Gold is very fun. I mean, it's more of a greatest hits kind of thing, more so than a new game. There's a handful of new micro games, but it's mostly a collection of ones from the previous games, just with like a new story around it. And like I'm a big fan of the WarioWare characters. Like, that game is very, very funny. I think the cast has a lot of personality. Like, and it's also very different.
Can't you dub your own lines into the game too?
Yes, you can.
That's outstanding.
And then there's like a lot of mini games and stuff to unlock. But I'm really, really enjoying it. But I was thinking about the question, like, because I know I personally don't own a Switch yet. So I was happy this game got a 3DS release. And I feel like kind of the way it's set up, it would be incredibly hard to port directly to the Switch. Like, Switch, I think WarioWare deserves a Switch entry. I don't think WarioWare Gold is how it's going to be, because like after like the first set of challenges, like they're divided up into mash, which is just the D-pad and A button, tilt, and touch things. And after a while, it starts switching up which they are. Like, initially they're categorized, like, so when you start a stage, it's like, oh, this is a mash stage, this is a tilt stage, and what have you. After you clear like the first like set of levels, then you unlock the ultimate stages, which just like they constantly change between touch, mash, and tilt and everything. So there's definitely ways, like, if you were playing with the Switch, if you were playing it on the TV, you wouldn't be able to do the touch challenges. And there's a lot of stuff that's spread between the two screens. That I think would also be very difficult to adapt. And so, like, I kind of wanted to use, that this is an example of a game that it's very much a 3DS game. It was made with the 3DS in mind, and probably because it's a greatest, kind of like a greatest hits thing, it probably was a fairly low budget project, I'm guessing.
So it's interesting. So what you said, Justin, was interesting, right? Like, there was an article the other week.
The Kotaku.
Yeah, and nothing against them. Like, I have no problem, but I have one fundamental disagreement with the article. I'm somebody who owns a Switch and a 3DS, and I get why people would want these games on Switch, but at the same time,
the latest and greatest. Yeah.
Yeah, but not everybody can afford a Switch right now.
And
so I don't begrudge these games, dropping on 3DS. And some games like Sushi Strikers, for example, are much more playable on 3DS than they are the Switch, simply because of the stylus. So
I think it's kind of an interesting conundrum because like when the Switch was first announced, the thing that was exciting to me about it was, hey, Nintendo's finally going to consolidate their development efforts on a single platform. It was no longer going to be split between the handheld and their home console, which like that was an exciting proposition for me. And like I know there's stuff that like WarioWare is an example of something I don't think could have been an easy port to Switch, but then they came out with Captain Toad a couple weeks ago, which came out on both Switch and 3DS.
Which is such a fucking charming little game, by the way.
Wait, I'm probably picking up the 3DS version of that.
Dude, it's really fucking good. It's so good.
But then there's also stuff like Samus Returns, which
did you say
absolutely?
Samus? Did you say
He
Samus?
said Samus.
Samus. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Wow, a lot of divisions tonight on the show.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Where obviously that could have been ported to the Switch, easy, and been like a very nice version of the game. So like it's kind of an interesting conundrum. Like I do think Nintendo should try to get like if you're going to be releasing something on 3DS, I think they should also try to get it on Switch if possible. But I think they should also make it clear about when it's not easy to do that, like with something like WarioWare.
I do think next year is probably a good time to start making the transition to 3DS, or to Switch. I'm sorry, yeah, because like WarioWare is fine, and again, I don't begrudge these games coming to Switch, but in 2019, if we're getting like, for example, a 2D like a top-down Zelda on the 3DS, I'm gonna be annoyed. Like I'm gonna be super fucking annoyed if that happens, because like Tom pointed out, as somebody who has a Switch and a 3DS, like I love my 3DS, but going back to it like gives me fucking glaucoma. Like it's, oh god, it hurts so bad to play, and it hurts my eyes straining at that screen. Oh god, so I don't know. I can see both points of view. But I wanted to move on to Phantom Doctrine, because this is a game I am very interested in.
I have played it. Tom, have you played?
I played a little bit of it.
Okay.
It's dense as fuck.
It's dense? Yeah. Yep. For sure.
So, in regards to Phantom Doctrine, I'd like to hear from both Tom and Zach on this. Tom, how much Phantom Doctrine have you played?
I played about 3 hours, so I'm not super into it. Deep into it.
Okay, so and that's like the tutorial. Like you're still in the tutorial then, right?
Yeah. There's so much going on.
That's what I've heard. And this is not. So I've seen a lot of XCOM comparisons, but it's not. Apparently, it's not futuristic aliens invading. It's like Cold War.
Nah, it's Cold War. Yeah.
Okay, yep. So considering the job I did in the Marine Corps, this is very interesting to me, right? So I keep seeing people like Maddie and Zach in chat, in the SDGC or SDGC DMs talk about things like stealth and stuff like that. So Zach, if you could break down the game mechanics for me, I'd really appreciate that.
Sure. So I mean, it's a tactics game, and so I think that's why there's a lot of obvious comparisons to XCOM in it. But the biggest difference in actual missions is that more often than not, the game is like, hey, you can do this whole mission in stealth, never blow your cover, and leave before anyone knows you were here. And that's really, really cool. And while you're on mission, there's also intel on the map where you can kind of pick it up, and it will actually be information about, for example, where enemy agents might be elsewhere in the world. So you take that back to your base, and after you've completed that mission, you can analyze some of the documents you find, and that will actually point you towards agents who are trying to find and expose your agency's workers. Which I think is maybe where this game gets the most interesting, is actually out of mission, because you're back at a headquarters similar to what you'd experience at XCOM. But there's some interesting things going on. Like there's intel where you can, in a very classic style, take different pieces of evidence with different keywords and draw strings from each one that highlight the different paths that kind of highlight intel and kind of reveal missions and targets in that way. But it's cool. I mean, some of the nice things are, like, if you're going after, you can knock them out and then carry them with you to your extraction point. and then you can torture them back at your base, which is kind of fucked. I mean, you don't actively do it. It's just in text that you've tortured them, and they gave you information, and the game's just like, oh, also that person's dead. Like, there's no choice. Like, you just kill them.
Are you trying to feed them a feta and onion pizza? Like
perhaps
what's going on?
Perhaps. But like, I mean, the game is at its best when it allows you to live out the fantasy of being the operations manager. When the game breaks into combat, XCOM style, I actually think the game is at its weakest. The game does not use the percentage.
I was gonna say real quick, Zach, not to cut you off, but I was gonna.
No,
It sounds like you've had some issues with this game as well.
Yeah.
It's not all. Yeah.
I mean, my biggest issues are twofold. One is what Tom kind of alluded to. That the game is very dense. It very much. There's a lot going on in this game, and it explains about a third.
There are so many things just buried under like 8 layers of abstraction.
Yep. Which can make it really frustrating, right? Like Maddie, who couldn't be here tonight, was telling me that he did not understand how to pick up enemy agents and hide their bodies until he was like 8 hours in, and it was to the point where like his group had been exposed so many times because they didn't know how to hide enemy bodies that like it had messed up his playthrough. The game just doesn't reveal it. Jesus. But where I find my frustration is that the game's combat system just mostly feels vague and kind of squishy. So obviously the percentages of XCOM, we've all seen silly memes where like a gun is clipping through an enemy head.
Oh god, I love
and it's like 19%. And it's like 19%, which is obviously objectively very dumb that happens. But it's also very transparent in how its systems work. Whereas in Phantom Doctrine, nothing is percentage based. It's always like, no, you're gonna make contact, and here's the maximum amount of damage, and here's the minimum amount of damage, and you're gonna hit somewhere in here. You're like, there's never any question of if you're going to hit them. But that can be frustrating because you can have a character in full cover, and somebody beyond that wall can still shoot through that wall that's considered full cover and do damage to your characters, which is kind of fucked. Because it just kind of makes you feel like there's really no true protection once you've been exposed out of stealth. And it really makes stealth the most viable option, or maybe the only option.
I was on a video, and my buddy Sam over at SideQuest was driving the demo, and he jumped through a window and shattered the window in a room with dudes in it. And the guys weren't looking at the window, so it didn't trigger them.
Yep.
But then he hid behind a desk, and it was like a turn or two later, everyone was on high alert and just like shooting through walls. Like, cover didn't matter.
Yep.
The
game has some issues. Yeah, the game has some issues, and that's what's frustrating. Is like the stealth is really fun when you can execute a mission without ever being spotted. It's rewarding, but no matter what, even if you're not doing anything objectively cheap, the game still feels cheap. Like again. If I jump through a window and it's just like behind or like basically like, if an enemy's looking down the hallway and I jump behind him and shatter the glass, he is not aware, which is bad. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So you can jump through a window and then judo chop him and hide his body, and like that's still stealth somehow. Shattering glass is still. And like one of the things that seems weird here is that like, listen, this is spy bullshit. Like. Just take out one of those corny ass like circular glass cutters and like have me like shimmy through the window. Like, just please allow me to maintain some level of immersion where like stealth is at least believable.
Are these glitches or just bad game design?
I mean, I don't want to call it bad game design, and it's not a glitch. It's a feature. Like their whole point is that if an enemy isn't looking at you, you can get away with it. Now, if that makes for immersive gameplay is a total different conversation.
I wish
it's
that
not
were true in real life. I wish it were true in real life. Like when my enemies are looking at me, I could just get away with it. Like, God, if only that could be true. Jesus.
But what's frustrating is like the game in so many other ways allows you to live out this fantasy that is kind of an itch gone unscratched in the genre. And so it's an incredibly satisfying game. But you have to allow yourself to like take in these corny moments where like, yep, I should have been spotted there. Or there are times where your entire squad will be knocked out by someone with a grenade that you just didn't even see. Or like whatever. You'll have a character in full cover who is 2 floors up and they'll get killed from somebody on the ground floor if they're weak. And like it can make for some frustrating things. I understand that the percentages of XCOM are silly, but there's probably a reason that Firaxis has stuck with it for as many years as they have.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, please.
No, I was just gonna say, listen, there's no game that does this era, the way that this game does it. If you go in understanding that, listen, this is not a polished product in the way you would expect from an XCOM title, but you're here to live out a spy fantasy. It's thrilling. If you're a fan of shows like The Americans, or even Archer, this game does lean into some of that corny shit.
Yeah, it does.
The era is really fun, and the era and the writing, while corny, carried this game's weight. And if you can get over the immersion breaking stealth stuff, the stealth is a fucking delight.
Would you recommend the game unreservedly, or wait for sale maybe? Wait for the price to go down?
I mean, listen, if you're a big fan of tactics and you're burnt out in XCOM, I'd say there's no reason to not pick it up. If you're a fan of the genre, there's no reason not to. But I mean, listen, unless you're bored in the summer, there's no reason to not wait for a sale on this one.
And this game is
There's
also
no way I can recommend it without a ton of caveats.
Yeah, you really need to either love tactics or love the era.
That makes sense. And just to be clear, there's no weird science fiction elements that pop up at any point. At least not yet. There's no
So
aliens or.
I'm 12 hours in, and that's not a thing yet. Just some quick things I just wanted to point out. One of the cool things out the gate is that you can pick CIA or KGB. From what we understand, I've done CIA, as has Finn, who's not here, but Maddie, we pushed him to do KGB, and he said it's different. So that is cool. There's a lot of content here. You just have to really like the.
So
just wanted to add.
Question, and this is both for Tom and Zach.
Sure.
So which side would Trump pick?
Isn't he currently at war with the CIA?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we going with KGB?
I think we're going KGB.
It's KGB.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, I feel like that's we owe our listeners who have stuck with us for years a definitive answer on that.
Yeah.
Well, this is the hashtag content people crave.
This is between this and talking about pickles getting your bread wet. This is what people come to SDGC for. I can't.
Tom,
go ahead.
Tom, do you have any takes on Phantom Doctrine from what you've played that are a little bit different from what I've said? And
not really. Just the density. Nothing I've said.
Really
haven't
heavy.
said. It's really heavy. It's really dense. They don't explain it super well, and a lot of the systems seem like they're way more ambitious than they coded into it. So things feel like, if they executed what they went for or had the time to do it,
right,
it would have come out way better than it did. But it just seems like, oh fuck, we gotta put this game out, so dudes are gonna be able to shoot me from a different building through two walls and kill me.
Yeah, and one of the things I love is this intel gathering phase, which is out of mission, you're back at your base.
Oh, the Pepe Sylvia stuff.
Yeah, that's really it's corny as hell, but it's very satisfying. But one of the silly things is you'll get a document and it's got stuff blacked out, but there'll be basically there's a box that's got 4 blanks in it, and so you're looking for 4 things in this document. And basically the game, it wants you to read through it and click names or locations that would highlight intel. And I can do that, but you can you can click unlimited amounts of times. You can click every single word in that document, and it will eventually just give you all the intel you need.
Yeah.
Rather than go the Fallout computer hacking style, where you've only got 5 guesses on this document, so don't fuck up. Listen, this game's ambitious as all hell. And I hope it does well enough to maybe warrant a sequel, because there's a lot that they've bitten off here that maybe they're not quite nailing. It's a hard game to recommend unless you love the genre.
So
yeah, I agree.
I also want to point out real quick, and again, I want Zach to feel loved, and I want him to feel comforted. I quoted his feta and onion pizza poll, and Will Powers.
What the fuck, Will?
Yeah, Will Powers, formerly of Deep Silver and PlayStation, asked me if I hate good food.
Listen, I'm just telling you.
Zach is getting more support on this than he deserves.
Listen, let me tell you right now. We've got 24 votes. It's 50-50.
I mean, I don't know, man. This is
I know some people who are eating well. I know some people who are eating well tonight, so that's all I'm saying.
So I wanted to kind of finish up real quick and talk about Dead Cells a little bit, simply because I
haven't heard of that game. No one has talked about.
Before we get to Dead Cells, I just gotta ask,
No,
how you guys feel about like a smoked Gouda?
Smoked Gouda. Smoked Gouda
is excellent. Yes.
Yeah, we're here for smoked Gouda.
Here is a delicious pizza. Gouda and apple.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Now I like it. I like the idea. I like the idea of that. Like, it feels like an aesthetic. You know, it feels like crunching leaves underfoot, and also, I don't know, a little bit of smoked Gouda. I don't know. It sounds good. I like it.
Smoked Gouda.
It's a refreshing pizza.
On an apple pizza, or no, on an apple pie, maybe. On an apple pie, maybe.
Wait, what? No, wait.
No,
this is blasphemy.
No, this is actually
taking a dark turn.
This is actually a super popular regional thing I recently learned about. Wanted to put a gun in my mouth, but go on.
Where?
You've never put a slice of cheese on your fucking apple
There's
pie?
a lot of people who just put fucking Kraft singles on apple pie.
What?
You've never done this,
Jesus,
dude.
what?
No. Listen, don't. No, listen the fuck up. Listen the fuck up, you motherfuckers. Listen to me, okay? I'm not just whistling Dixie out of my ass on this one. Go fucking try it tomorrow, this weekend, at some point. Get a slice of apple pie. Take a fucking Kraft single. Put that shit on the apple pie. Let it melt a little bit. Eat that shit up, and then you fucking get on Twitter and you thank my ass for raising you to a fucking level of ascension that you have never experienced before.
This isn't a thing, John. This isn't a thing.
No, I'm telling you right now, this is a Google it. Google it.
You're just fucking with us, right?
No,
like,
fucking Google it. No.
I'm dropping
Google
a picture in chat right now.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. Zach, Tom, for everybody watching, can you hold that picture up to the camera? Maybe.
Yeah, just let me drop it in real quick.
Yeah, drop that shit in chat. Drop it like it's hot. Look at that shit. Look at that. Yes. Look at that. Fuck yes. Do that shit. Everybody in chat. Everybody in chat. Everybody in this podcast.
It's not good.
Do it. You know what? There's a bunch of fucking doubters and people who have strayed for the light of God in our chat, but I am bringing you all the truth right now. Take a fucking.
By the way, John, I just wanted to make you aware. It appears Vicky is here for the Fed and Onion. So
No. Wait. What are you talking about?
It looks like Vicky is here for Fed and Onion.
Wait a minute. What the fuck is this bullshit?
So
what is this bullshit?
Exclusive.
Can you hear me?
John.
Honey, can you hear me? I know she can hear me upstairs. Can you hear me? That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Fed and Onion sucks.
Listen.
Oh my
God. SDGC exclusive. John's getting. So.
I'm probably getting divorced now.
No, I mean, listen. So listen, cheese doesn't belong on pie. That's trash. Fed and Onion pizza is here to stay. Let's move on to Dead Cells.
Are we still in hell, Zach? Zach, are we still in hell? Did we ever claw our way out?
No, we're perpetually hell. Talk to me about Dead Cells, because this I have never heard of it. It seems like a new game.
So real quick.
Novel?
Dead Cells is fucking legit. So I've poured about maybe 50 hours into Dead Cells since I picked it up.
Jesus, John.
Dude, Dead Cells is fucking awesome. And it's literally all I've played, almost all I've played. I played a little Okami, but that Dead Cells just keeps pulling me back. No run is the same. It's very reminiscent of games like Castlevania and Metroid. Like it feels like I'm playing Symphony of the Night. Like the pixelated art is beautiful. The animation is great. The enemies are really cool looking. I could use more. There's only like 4 bosses throughout the game, but really, fighting the bosses isn't the point. Getting more powerful is the point, and it's got one of the coolest progression systems I've ever seen in a roguelike game. It is a roguelike game, but there's also fucking Finn. John's ignoring the chat like a coward. No, I'm past you. I'm not focusing on your bullshit, fucking chat. But Dead Cells anyway. Shut up, Justin. Anyway,
this episode sucks.
Dead Cells has one of the coolest progression systems in any roguelike I've ever seen. So, just like any good roguelike, whenever you die, you lose all the weapons that you have, all the weapons that you've accumulated throughout that run, right? Like, any swords or bows or traps you've picked up, those are gone. But there are power-ups you can unlock by collecting cells, hence the name of the game. Some enemies drop cells, which are just these big blue orbs that you pick up. And if you make it to the collector at the end of every level, you can level up and unlock several different powers that carry over to your next game. Like, for example, you keep a percentage of your gold, or you get another health potion to use, up to a total of 4. And those unlocks stay with you throughout the rest of your time in the game. But everything else you unlock goes away. You got to find it again. But there are blueprints you can pick up, right? Some of them are rare, some of them are common, and those unlock new weapons at the forge. And you can also unlock them spending your cells at the collector. And the more weapons and blueprints and traps you unlock, the more these are, like, they'll start dropping out in the wild, right? So the more you unlock, the bigger your weapon, drop pool becomes, throughout each subsequent playthrough. And there's also mutations that you can unlock, which are power-ups for your character, like, 30% HP increase.
It's very similar to Rogue Legacy. That's the easiest game to, if you've played Rogue Legacy.
Sort of, yeah, but you're playing the same character, right? Like, you're not, like, Rogue Legacy had, like, a real, like, one of the things I loved about Rogue Legacy was, like, those traits that would carry over. Like, one guy had, like, glaucoma, or one guy had, like, IBS, and he couldn't stop farting every time he fucking jumped. Like, I love that. So this is a little different, right? Like, you are very much the same character the entire time. You're just this blob. You're like this amorphous blob that attaches to a corpse at the beginning of every run, and then you go through. There's almost
a host, like, if you will.
It's a host, right? And there's very little story to it so far. Like, it's very, like, I hate to say this, but very Dark Souls.
It is a little Dark Souls. It's influenced a little in Dark Souls.
Yeah, like you'll find all this lore. Actually, Brandon, you've played a bunch of it too. Once you pick up,
I played like 6 or 7 hours, but yeah. I talked about it last week. I haven't played much more since then.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you played any more of it or not.
I have a little bit, but like, yeah, a couple hours.
So John, before we go back to Pizza Talk, I just want you to give like a 30-second pitch for Sam in the chat, or for anybody, just a quick 30-second pitch. What people don't know, you don't even tell them it's a roguelike, just the lore. Sell us on the era, the lore, the feeling. Come on.
As much as I can tell, you're in some kingdom where some kind of malady has struck, some kind of sickness. There's no people left. There's just monsters, and there's people locked indoors, and they seem to be afraid of you, which is interesting. You can knock on doors, and they say, "Well, oh, thank God, I'm on the right side of the door."
It's medieval.
Yeah, it's just medieval. It's
like one of the third level is Castle Ramparts.
Exactly, yeah. And there's a clock tower, and there's there's an old fishing hamlet. It's all very Dark Soulsy. If you like games where the story is and the lore is spoon-fed you slowly by cues you find in the world, then this game is going to be right up your alley. There's that pervading sense of loneliness that you find in Metroid games and in Souls games. And just like Souls, definitely. If you die, you lose all the cells you had. They're gone. So basically. And so
I just have.
Go ahead.
I just want to know. Listen, I'm big on lore. I think most of SDGC is big on lore. Is there an in-lore explanation for why you restart when you die?
Not yet. And to be honest,
okay,
not yet.
And to be honest with you, like I've made it all the way to the final boss, and I've come close to killing him. I haven't killed him yet. I don't know what happens after you beat it, but I can tell you right now, even the lore that's out in the world, it's fine. Like it's like the reason to play Dead Cells is that incredible gameplay hook.
It's the gameplay loop.
Yeah. Okay. It's one of the most compelling. Zach, here's the best way to put it. It's one of the most compelling risk-reward gameplay loops I've seen in years.
I mean,
on the pendulum of.
The game relies very heavily on the flow, and dialogue boxes will interrupt that flow, so it is very minimal on them.
And so on the pendulum between Dark Souls and I just want to understand where this is, like, in terms of gameplay. Is this Rogue Legacy or is this Dark Souls in terms of?
It's Rogue Legacy.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
You don't have
that's fine.
Like Zach, you don't have like a stamina bar. You know, like in Dark Souls, you can swing away as much as you want.
Okay.
It's closer to Rogue Legacy and also Castlevania Symphony of the Night than it is anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, from what I've seen, it looks a lot like Symphony of the Night and like.
But the thing is, it's not a Metroidvania because you're not really.
Yeah.
Because you're
not unlocking new abilities that allow you to access new areas of the map. You are a little bit. Like, early on, you get the upgrade that allows you to raise those vines, but like that's it. There's that, and then there's like the teleporting coffins. That's about it. but it's not the same sort of progression as Super Metroid.
Nah,
Okay.
It's pretty much all combat based.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's combat. It's very much a 2D action platform.
Okay. So.
And to be fair,
go on.
It's like just from a gameplay perspective, Zach, it's one of the best. It's one of the best playing 2D action platformers.
Oh yeah, it is smooth.
Okay.
Dude, it's really fucking good. It plays well. It's fun to play, and honestly, it's like the game. And
the animation is really good.
Well, and it doesn't waste your fucking time either, Brandon. Which is
no. There's not a.
Oh no, you're
second
right
time.
in the shit.
Yeah, like
even when you die, it takes like 10 seconds to get another game going.
Yep. And Zach,
And what are you guys playing on?
I'm playing on
on
Switch.
PC with an Xbox controller. Yeah.
I'm on Switch. Like Switch has a few weird like graphical hiccups, like just like some frame issues when things get cluttered in handheld mode. But other than that, it plays fine. Zach, I mean, and you can make it to the final boss in an hour and a half once you know what you're doing.
45 minutes even.
Yeah, like it's
wow.
Like,
Okay.
like this game is meant to be replayed though, because there's so much. Like what's cool, and I know Tom and Brandon have seen this when you. And the starting area, there's all these glass orbs hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, it's so cool.
A display of the upgrades you've earned. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all
they're all
cool.
empty at the start, and as you fill
it's like it's a trophy collection basically.
It's really fucking, and it's so satisfying to like jump into them and see the
glass you can knock them around.
Yeah,
it's just
really
a little detail. Yeah, it adds a lot.
It's just
so
really.
Listen.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, does anybody have any last minute thoughts on Dead Cells before I bring us into our final topic?
So it sounds like progression in Dead Cells is quite a bit more permanent than a lot of other.
Yes, absolutely.
It's very much a roguelite. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great way to put it.
Because that's one of the things that kind of frustrates me, even when there's like some little incremental upgrades, like still losing the stuff can be a pain, especially like when you get a good run or something going.
Well, and there's really cool little details, Justin. Like I didn't know this until like the game doesn't tell you any of this, right? Like I was just 20 hours into the game, I was standing in like a little pool of water, and I threw an ice grenade, and the ice froze all of us in the water. Like,
that's really cool.
Nobody can move, and I was like, oh shit! I didn't even realize that would happen.
I didn't know that.
And like the weapons, and you can get so overpowered in this game and still get your fucking ass handed to you. I mean, there are swords with oil on them that will like increase fire damage, and then you'll get a fire grenade, and it's dude, endless combinations of builds in this game is just it's so fucking good.
What's your go-to secondary weapon?
Oh, dude, I like the Impaler or the Assassin's Blade. I like
bows.
I like
bows too.
Bows are good. I have you guys unlocked that skill that kind of zaps you right behind the enemy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the phase one.
Yeah, phase. That's what it's called. Yeah, I like to do the phase, and then with that damage multiplier on the Assassin's Dagger, man, like it just fucking melts people. It's so good. Zach, you really need to pick it up when you can.
I think I did get that once. Actually.
Yeah, I should eventually.
When you can.
I get paid at the end of the month, so we'll see. Okay, so final topic of the night. All right, so final topic of the night, guys. This one, listen, we like to get heated in here, but I think we should keep this one civil. How do we feel about Little Caesars Pizza?
Little Caesars Pizza is fucking garbage.
I haven't had it since I was like 12 years old.
I would sooner eat a sock than a fucking hot and sweaty.
I don't even remember what it tastes like. We don't have them here in Colorado, so
we don't have them in New York either.
I don't remember.
We had them in Pennsylvania when I was growing up, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't remember because the only one that was around here was just like inside of a Kmart. And
they were always in the mall.
That was the last one we had.
That Kmart shut down, so
okay.
I do not remember Little Caesars. They were cheap, and I did love that my mom would let me get pizza when she would go shopping at Kmart and drag me along.
The same.
So that there's that.
Okay, I mean, listen, from Michigan,
I also associate Little Caesars with Kmart, so like that says a lot.
Yeah, sure. I mean, like, listen, from Michigan, it's the bread and butter pizza, really. I mean, it's bad pizza, but it's good bad pizza.
So hold on,
I don't even have an opinion. It's been too long.
Was Little Caesars the first pizza chain to actually put cheese in the crust?
In the crust.
I think it was Pizza Hut.
I think it was Pizza Hut. Yeah.
Was it Pizza Hut that did that?
It was Pizza Hut from what I remember.
Now, okay, but in terms of owners of brands, I would say the owner of Little Caesars was better than Papa John. Can we agree?
Has he milk?
Okay, yes. I think we can agree that he is better than Papa John.
The guy who. Okay, listen.
I have to talk about Papa John after you're done because
Okay, listen.
Unrelated to his racism.
Okay, unrelated. Okay, cool. So listen. Mike Ilitch, the guy who created Laser, was actually a great guy. He paid Rosa Parks rent through like up until her death, which is very cool. Also, his pizza not good, but also very cheap, and so I will defend it. It is better than DiGiorno. It is better than anything you can get in a refrigerator, and it's $5.
I could go outside right now and pick up a piece of white dog shit, and that would be better than DiGiorno's pizza. Like,
okay, I thought you were about okay. I don't think DiGiorno's that bad, but okay. So listen.
I got into it. Did you guys see me?
So listen.
The official DiGiorno's account the other day. Did you guys?
Yeah,
I did. We did see it.
I thought it was hilarious because I saw that literally 15 minutes after finishing a DiGiorno pizza.
So like, listen. Is Domino's the best? Because I don't think it is.
I think
no. I just had Domino's again. Well, I just had Domino's again a couple weeks ago, and it was way better than the last time I got it before.
Did you get the regular pizza or did you get the pan pizza in the black box?
Okay, I have a story.
I think it was the black box.
Domino's thin crust is where it's at.
Hey, Justin's ready to talk. Justin.
I'm sorry.
So, one of my good friends, back when we were kids, we were heading to his house after play practice, and his mom told us she had ordered a pizza. And he says to her, he's like, it better not be Domino's. And his brother is sitting in the front seat, turns around with the biggest grin on his face and said, it's Domino's.
Domino's.
And my friend screamed, fuck, at the top of his lungs so loud. And it was the first time his mom ever heard him swear.
Over Domino's pizza?
I don't know. That seems like an overreaction to me, man.
That is something I can't relate to.
I got beef with Papa John, and that guy has the fucking audacity to start calling himself Papa at the age of 22.
That's true. That's true because like what he meant when he was 22 is different than what I think we want to tell him. You know what I mean?
He's like, come on down to Daddy John's.
I don't like it.
Daddy John. Oh shit, dude, that's what I'm calling my brand. Dude, next time I make a pizza, that's a Daddy John's pizza. No bullshit.
Daddy John's feta and onion pizza.
John, wait, you should try to become the new. Why have we not explored this space? This is clearly where we belong.
Papa John's might actually be the worst pizza I've ever eaten in my life.
Hold on, wait.
Okay,
but
that goes very well.
It comes with that garlic dipping sauce.
Zach, can cut out for a minute. Zach, did you suggest that I should take over the mantle of Papa John's?
I think that you should become Papa John's, and building off of what Tom is saying, it is the best. It is the worst pizza, which goes very well with the SDGC brand because we are the worst really thing out there on the internet. So I think that it's natural. This is natural for us.
Have you guys ever seen the Papa's House?
The Papa's House?
No.
Do I want to?
Do I want
to
go to the Papa's House?
Tell me about Papa's House.
I'm gonna send you guys a video about Papa's House after this. So
Great.
There's a
good radio.
There was a video. I'm going to describe it. I'm going to do some theater of the mind. So there's a video that they put out for introducing mobile ordering for Papa John's. And he's like, the pizza comes to the door and they walk Papa John through his house. And he opens the door and he starts backing through it. And it's this Scarface mansion with a giant 15-foot carved dragon in the foyer. He lives in a Coke Baron's mansion.
Was there a giant pile of like was there just white powder everywhere?
I don't know, but it was like one of those carvings that's red. So you're not sure if it's wood or if it's like a precious stone.
Does Papa John
Wait,
live
you said it was you said it was red. Was it made out of like solidified pizza sauce? Like, because that would be pretty awesome if he had a pizza dragon.
But that's like the second best part. The best part is that he walks into his giant office with his presidential sized desk and his like young son is there. and he has his son ordering the pizza because he doesn't know how computers work. Basically,
Jesus Christ.
it's really good.
Does fucking Papa John live in the? It sounds like he lives in the castle from Resident Evil 4. That's what it sounds like to me.
Hey, just an update. There are now more people who are pro feta and onion than against.
So, by the way, speaking of fucking
you're
updates,
wrong.
By the way, no. Listen up. Speaking of fucking updates, by the way, I just want to point out that Will Powers is on the cheese slice and apple pie train. Okay, it's right there on Twitter. All right, it's not bullshit. Everybody in here is a fucking heathen who's strayed from the light of God. Okay, none of you have even tried it, so you can't critique it. Don't knock it till you try it.
No, but does it have to be craft single?
Yes,
I mean that's traditionally the way. Apparently,
yeah. Traditionally, that's the way. It could just because of the melting point with the heat, it's easier to melt a slice.
Does this go now? Is this year round? Is this a holiday thing? 4th of July?
It's just anytime you want because it's fucking delicious. You don't wait for flavor. Okay.
Flavor waits for no one.
Flavor waits for no man or woman. Like you just do it.
Fuck. I mean, this sounds bad, actually, but I mean, maybe I'll try it.
Do it. I want you to try it. And I want you to take a picture of it when you're doing it.
If I try it, will some of you eat feta and onion pizza?
I will. I'll tell you what.
I won't.
No. Here's the SDGC guarantee right here, okay? Next week, this shit's going down. If Zach brings a slice of apple pie and Kraft cheese on the podcast and eats it live, has a bite live on the podcast, I too will have my own slice of feta and onion pizza right here. Tom can join us again next week. I'm gonna have the fucking pizza right here, and I'm gonna eat the whole fucking piece.
It's very good.
Right here. And if I am wrong about its disgusting texture, I will admit it.
I will. Okay. I will not eat that, but I will on camera eat apple pie with cheese.
So now, John. Oh.
I'll do it.
I just want to dip my toes in what I consider blasphemy. When I have this cheese and pie thing, can it be a McDonald's apple pie?
No.
I really want to guarantee it's good. So
no. This shit has no. You have to get the finest slice of apple pie you can find.
Okay.
Go to Do you have Wegmans up there?
We've got Plum Market. We've got Whole Foods.
What are these places?
Yeah, are you gonna send? John, are you gonna send me?
I live across the street from a Wegmans.
There you go.
I wish I had sheets.
Go to a fucking, go to a nice place. I don't care where. Go to a nice place, not a fucking gas station, not a Wawa. Go get a slice of apple pie.
Wawa.
And a piece
of cheese.
I've
never been to a Wawa, by the way.
Bring that shit. So Zach, are you down? Are you
I am. Does it get microwaved?
No,
like,
you don't
has
have
the
to
cheese
microwave it.
The cheese. Wait, is the cheese?
So
I think the theory behind it is that the pie is
the
warm
pie is
and
hot, and then the cheese. But if you have to microwave it for a few seconds to melt the cheese, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right, we have fucking witnesses. We have witnesses.
I'll do it.
And on the
I'll
podcast,
do it. Come on.
Bring that fucking apple pie, and I will bring my feta and onion pizza. The Super Deformed Pie Cast will go live.
No, it's good. It's good. And hey, John. Now, I also think that if you eat that pizza, you have to be popping. So.
Well, hold on.
Consider. Like, let that ruminate. Really, what that means.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine.
How much money do you think I would have to, offer my local Papa John's employees for them to give me one of their work shirts?
Oh my God! Please do it.
They'll just give it to you.
So Mitty in chat has a question. She says the real question is whether this exchange constitutes a valid contract. Yes, it does. We're gonna tweet it out.
It does.
This is fucking happening next.
This is a blood contract now.
Zach and I are gonna cut each other. We're gonna cut ourselves after the podcast.
Where I come from, verbal contracts are legally binding, so I'm in this now.
Okay.
All right.
I'm fucking
cool.
all in. I'm all in. So
cool.
So I know. Guy, I mean, people in chat will love it. Like, this is the content that I think video game Twitter craves. Like, this is good shit, man. I'm all over this. Honestly, this is probably the best fucking episode we've ever done, guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is. I think we've set the standard this week. So I have one more announcement before we sign off for the night. Finn says, I've never been more ashamed to be on the podcast, and I've been here during our top 100. That was pretty fucking bad, I'm not gonna lie. But a pretty cool announcement for everybody who's in chat. So the other day, Greg Miller tweeted out an offer to people, and he said, because a friend of mine, Aiden, was on there, and she did great. And he said, hey, if there's any other voices out there who you feel like we could elevate, let us know, because we're always looking to kind of bring new people into the industry and let their voices be heard. And somebody watches the show suggested this podcast, and it kind of picked up. A bunch of people out in the gaming industry vouched for us. Kind of, the pileup started, and then Greg Miller sent me a DM on Twitter and asked me if I wanted to be part of something they were doing at PAX West. So I'm going to be
the wrestling thing, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to be part of PAX Mania. In next Saturday. Not this Saturday, but I think it was September 1st is when it's going down at PAX West. So I will be there with Kind of Funny, doing PAX Mania. And there are other cool things happening on that front as well that I can't really say yet. But more to come. But yeah, we're really excited. It's really cool. We've been doing this podcast for almost 3 years now, and yeah, I've been wanting something like this to happen for a long time. So it's really cool. It's really cool for us to all to get noticed like that. So please look forward to that. Please look forward to our bet next week. Me and Zach, it's fucking going down. We're gonna finalize that shit on Twitter after we're done here, Zach. We need to really make this a blood contract thing on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because Twitter, it's not serious if it's not on Twitter. That's my motto. But anyway, does anybody have anything else that they want to drop before we sign off for the night?
Yeah. It turns out there's a bevy of Papa John's used employee shirts on eBay.
Get that shit. I'll buy one. I'll actually no.
They're like $17.
I think that I am actually going to find a used Domino shirt, and I'm gonna wear that. I'm gonna wear that next week if I can for our challenge, Zach.
No Little Caesar's toga.
I could wear a toga.
I do like it. No, Justin, you cannot feed his.
I could wear a bed sheet. I mean, I'm pretty built.
He'll do it. He'll do it.
I will totally
You can get a Little Caesars hot and ready employee uniform for $17.99.
That sounds horrid. I thought you were just gonna stop at a Little Caesars hot and ready employee, and I'm like, dude, no, I don't know. Let's not.
The back of the shirt says Pizza Genius. and has the Little Caesar man.
I would wear that in public. I really would. That's something I'd be fine with. All right. We're getting off the fucking rails here. We need to
getting.
This all started with
pickles versus cucumbers.
Pickles versus cucumbers, and now we're here.
Now we're in a blood contract. So
that's how we do it on SDGC. This is a glorious fucking dumpster fire, and we're so glad that all you guys have tolerated it for so long. But,
I regret ever talking to John in that hotel lobby.
That was probably the worst decision you've ever made in your life.
I've made some pretty bad decisions.
Right? Like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Dude, you decided to do a podcast with Aaron. I mean, that's bad enough, man.
Yeah.
Fucking, yeah. Aaron was in chat earlier, by the way. I hope he's still there. But anyway, well, Tom, are you gonna be at PAX? You'll be at PAX West, by the way, right?
I'm not.
You're not gonna be there. Oh shit.
We had our travel budget got slashed for the rest of the year.
Is GameRanks gonna have any rep there at all?
Nope.
Oh man.
We're all New York based, so it's like wicked expensive.
Why am I even going? Fuck.
I know, right?
Jesus Christ, I might as well not go. By the way, I want to point out that Jake Baldino on chat has strayed from God's love.
Yeah.
He's on the fed and onion train, man. He's right.
I'm gonna have fucking words for tomorrow. Which
I'm
is also
actually
funny.
very surprised at the level of support that Zach has gotten on Twitter over this. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was not expecting this level of heresy.
Listen, just because you don't have a sophisticated path, it doesn't mean shit, man. The rest of the world's here to say fed onion's good.
Mitty in chat says this podcast is one of my few vices. Mitty, we really appreciate that. I love that you're addicted to us. She should be studying for law school right now, by the way.
Okay, everybody have a good, safe Friday and weekend.
It's time to end it. We're fucking done. It's 10:30.
Shit's bad.
So anyway, guys, please be excited for us representing at PAX Mania with Kind of Funny.
Jeb Bush, please be excited.
Please be excited. And,
now I'm bummed I'm not going.
I'm bummed about you not going too, man. Okay, let's end this. As always, guys, it's not always poetry. We don't always agree, but we always keep it real. So until next week, it's a scary world out there, guys. Take care of each other. Play them video games. Fuck feta and onion pizza.